Hello, my name is Mike Phillips. I'm the instructor for Geology 1005 Natural Disasters. Welcome to the class. My contact information is on this slide. You've got my office phone number at IVCC. You have my email address and the website for the class. The class is in Blackboard, but you can also access the information directly through this website. If you wish to get a hold of me, the best way to do it is via my email. I check my email several times a day, and I'll get back to you usually within less than 24 hours. Typically a lot faster than that. So you want to write down that email address. It's just my name with an underscore in the middle at ivcc.edu. The best way to get a quick response is to put Geology 1005 in the subject line. That way I know it's from a student about a course, and those are the emails that I answer first. So what is this class? Well, as the name implies, we're going to be looking at natural disasters. And what we want to do is explore a variety of natural disasters. Really, they're natural hazards. They become natural disasters when humans interact with them. And so we're going to look at the role and the impact of science on identifying and planning for these natural disasters. And in fact, essentially what we do is look at how the hazardous process works, talk about what that allows us to do in terms of forecasting or figuring out where and when people might be at risk, and then how can we plan for that based on what we know about that hazard and the physical processes that create it. So to that end, what we'll be doing is we'll be discussing a natural hazard roughly each week. We're going to start in week 3 discussing natural hazards. We've got a little lead up this week and next before we get there. And then we will also take a look at specific natural hazard. You will get to do 2 term projects where you look at a specific hazard and how it impacts the town. And so that's a lot more application for you that you can apply at some point in the future, I would hope. So bottom line, what's graded? Each week for 10 weeks we will have a weekly discussion. Wait, I misspoke. That is 12 weeks. We have 12 different weekly discussions. The first 2 weeks are how this class works, which is this week, and next week, which will be how disasters or natural hazards work. And then after that, we'll have 10 weeks on specific hazards. But these first 2 weeks are graded, and it's to kind of get you in the process of how this class will work. And then at the end of each week, there will be weekly homework due. Essentially what you'll be doing is you'll be discussing things, and then you'll submit your final answer as your homework at the end of the week. As I mentioned, there are a couple of term projects. They're worth 100 points each. The way that the term projects work is you will discuss a natural hazard and how it impacts the area where you live or an area where you might like to live. So for example, you could do floods in Ottawa, you could do hurricanes in Miami, you could do landslides somewhere in the Rocky Mountains. It's kind of up to you. You get to pick whichever hazard you want in whichever town. At midterm, you'll do one of these. I will return it to you after a couple weeks with a grade, and then you can revise it and resubmit it for a brand spanking new grade. The second project is then due at the end of the term, and there is no resubmission on that. The idea here is that what you learn putting together that first project, you can then apply when you create your second project. The second project has to be a different hazard. It could be the same town or a different town. That's up to you. The content will be a written paper with figures and references, and then a 4 to 8 PowerPoint or Prezi presentation that's submitted as well. It's nothing to panic about. It's actually in place of a final exam. You'll notice on what is graded, we don't have any exams. Instead, we have these projects because I think it's a much better use of your time to actually work on the research for one of these projects. In fact, at midterm, we'll even take 2 weeks, and at the end of the semester, we'll take another 2 weeks where you don't have to do any other homework. You can just work on your projects. So, How does the rest of the class work? Well, each Sunday, a new topic will become live in Blackboard. So this week's topic became live on Sunday. This PowerPoint became available. We have questions for homework and discussion. You'll see what this week's question is at the end of the slideshow, but it's also posted in Blackboard and on my website. You'll also get resources. You'll get some reading in the text, and you'll have some web links that you can use as well. Sunday through Saturday, you explore the topic using the text and web resources. And what's really important and key to this class is a group discussion in Blackboard. The class is divided into several different groups, and those groups then work and discuss the question for the week in Blackboard. You will be submitting your final answer as homework on Sunday. Essentially what you get to do is talk with other students in the class, and you can even peek in on the discussions in other groups about your answer to the homework. And then at the end of the week, you put together your personal final answer based on what you think, what you've read, and how the discussion went, and then you submit it to me. So that's how the week works. You explore a topic using the textbook. That's going to be your key resource, especially when we get to individual hazards. So each hazard has its own chapter in the textbook. We have some great links online. So when we're talking about hazards, for example, the United States Geological Survey, pardon me, the United States Geological Survey has lots of information about hazards, for example. They have a whole section devoted to earthquakes. They have a whole series of websites devoted to their volcano observatories. So there are places where you can go to get information about each hazard, and we'll have links to those each week. And as I mentioned before, your group discussion. This is a place to share with other students in the class what you've been doing, what you've found out, and to ask each other questions about the week's homework. So the way the discussion works is there's a link to Blackboard from the IVCC front page, also a link from our class website. You will be assigned a group. You'll see your name in the discussion area at the top of one of the groups. And the requirement is that you post on at least 3 different days. So some people read this and they go, oh, I got to post 9 things. No, you got to post at least 3 things, but they have to be on different days. I strongly recommend that you post more than that. Asking other students questions, helping them answer their questions, getting clarification from each other. All of these things will benefit the group, and they'll benefit you when you're doing your homework at the end of the week. So this is really a key aspect of the class. I monitor all the discussions throughout the week. If they go off track, I might throw out a question to bring you back in line. If somebody posts something that's incorrect, I will correct it as quickly as I see it. So I try to check the discussion board every day. Sometimes I don't get it there that quick. If you see something that's not quite right, you can post with a question. You can say, hey, that doesn't sound right to me. The textbook says that's not what the case is. Or maybe I say something in one of these slide presentations. So that's another one of your resources each week is going to be these narrated PowerPoint slides. So that's the discussion portion of the class. The Blackboard setup, we will have announcements. I usually post 1 or 2 a week, and when I post an announcement, I will email it to everyone in the class as well. You'll need to check your IVCC email regularly to see if you're getting emails from this class. There's course information in Blackboard. That's kind of the basic documents that tell you what's going on in the course. So the basic course requirements, the grading scale, all that information is in course information. Each week there will be new course documents, and so the course documents are the weekly topics pages where you'll find out what the questions for the week are and have links to the resources. At the end of the week, when you've got your homework and you're ready to submit it to me, your final answer to the week's questions, you'll do that in the assignments area, which is essentially a digital Dropbox. So you can either paste into the Dropbox or you can attach a Word or an RTF file. The discussion board I've already mentioned, the group discussion, but there's also a place there to ask me questions about the class. So Ask Mr. Phillips is not where you would say, Mr. Phillips, what is my grade? Because everybody can read that. I won't answer it. But that's where you would ask me a question about kind of the general structure, what's going on, or some confusion. If you have a question that you need to ask from me personally that's specific to you, you can send it to me via email. The other thing you'll find on the discussion board is a coffee house, which is where you can have kind of an informal discussion with other students in the class. And the other thing in Blackboard is that we have the gradebook. So as I grade material, the gradebook gets updated and you can see where you stand in the class each week. It's important when I grade materials each week, I will return it to you in the Dropbox and you can read my comments. So if you're not sure why you got the grade that you did, you really want to read the comments, and then if you need further clarification, you can send an email to me. So this is just kind of to highlight the whole email thing. You can, in an emergency, submit your homework to me via email. Typically that occurs when somebody can't get the Dropbox to work. Sometimes that happens and you can just email your homework to me. I prefer it in the Dropbox. It just makes it easier for me to grade and keep the gradebook up to date. Blackboard communications in the discussion area, again, are to communicate with the entire class. So like if you want to know when something is due, if you want clarification on that, if a question doesn't make sense, that you might put in your group discussion. But if there's something that you're wondering about how the class is working out, like where's my grades or have you done this kind of thing, you can post that in Blackboard. Don't send anything to Blackboard communications. Oh, I'm sorry. This red thing is if you get something from announcements. If I email the whole class, be careful how you respond to that because you don't want it to go to the whole class. So at the end of the week, the discussions conclude on Saturday, and I actually shut down and lock up the discussions on the discussion board. So it's best to post your comments a little earlier in the week and then come in on Friday or Saturday and see what people have written and make some kind of final comments. Don't come in and post something on Saturday night like a question and expect somebody in the group to answer it. So by the end of the week, you should be kind of wrapping things up. Homework is due every Sunday night by 11 o'clock at night into the Blackboard assignment Dropbox. So our first topic is how will you succeed in this class? You need to develop a plan for successful completion of this course, including a weekly schedule, a brief discussion of your obstacles to success, what they are and how you're going to address them, and what you plan to gain from completing this course. And if you're a real go-getter, what you can do is go into, and you should do this, go into the discussion group immediately as soon as you're done watching this PowerPoint slide and answer one of these 3 bullet points or ask a question of the rest of the group. So for example, on obstacles, you could go to your group and say, I'm concerned about this. Has anybody had that issue and how did you address it? Or you can discuss what you plan to gain from the course and see what the other people in your group want to do. You can discuss what your weekly schedule is and any difficulties you might have and see what other people in your group are doing. So that's what the group discussion is for. And like I said, I expect to see you posting on at least 3 different days. That's how we have a discussion. If somebody comes in and tries to do it all in one day, it just doesn't work. So I look forward to seeing what you post in Blackboard and this week and for the rest of the class. Thank you.